Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Amar Spadero, and I will be your MC for tonight's webinar on managing your money wisely. Okay, we're thrilled to have you join us as we explore practical strategies and tips for taking control of your finances and to help you achieve financial well-being. Before we continue, again, just a reminder to everyone to keep your microphone muted during the presentation to minimize background noise. And of course, feel free to type your questions in the chat box throughout the session, and we'll address them during the Q&A segment at the end. Okay. And to get us started, let's warm up with a quick question. Okay. I know everyone is excited on this for tonight's webinar. In the chat box, okay? In the chat box, everyone, share one word that comes to mind when you think about money. Again, in the chat box, type in what is the one word that comes to your mind when you think about money. Okay, let's hear it from you. Okay. Come on, tap in. Okay. Miss Carmita, Miss Carmi says money. The think about money is about gastos. As Miss Caroline has said, oh, no debt. Okay, tama nga naman. Maganda yan. Money. Miss Cory said, earn. Okay, you have to earn money. Ano naman, kailangan natin yan. Come on, please come in. Think about it. Expense. O naman, sabi ni Miss Mira. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, gastos, no debt. You earn money, expenses, o nga naman, gastos yan. Economy. Oh, Sir Birds, economy. Okay. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Again, investment. Nice, Kring. Nice, Christy. Investment nga naman when it comes to money. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your participation. Now, eto, for next question, since you give effort and time to be here tonight, what do you expect to earn from this? What do you expect to learn from this webinar? Okay, what is your expectation? Definitely you're here to learn something, right? So what you want to learn? What's your expectation from this webinar? Please type in, okay, to your chat box. Come on, don't be shy. Okay, please type in, or else I can call one or two to share. If nobody will share, any volunteer? Come on, what's your okay, there you go. There you go. Miss Cory says maximize earning. And Sir Money said knowledge. Okay, knowledge about, definitely it's not about how to manage the money. Your money, yeah. Additional inputs that I did not know yet. Okay, sabi ni Miss Caroline. And Ivan says, I want to learn how I can passively make money and maximize earnings. Nice. That's what we're going to learn now. Miss Mira said, achieve something. Okay. Definitely by the use of your money. Huh? And, Sir Purdy says, how to save for the rainy days. Ayan. Thank you. Alam ko, everybody excited na. Thank you for your active participation again. So before we start, okay, siyempre, kailangan natin put it to the right mind, okay, to start our webinar. I would like everyone here to be in a proper state of mind to benefit from tonight's event, okay? So I would like to call Sir Nes Rakipiso to lead us to our opening prayer. Sir Nes, take it away.
Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. Thank you, Lord, for the gift of life. Thank you for this opportunity of meeting our clients and one another in our Team Mickey Beacon branch. May this seminar on managing money wisely contribute to a better life living for our clients, and for us. Continue to guide us in our day-to-day life. In our profession of being financial advisors and leaders, to enable us to carry on the task you have given us, that of helping others, especially our clients. Allow us to have the virtue of humility and gratitude in our brethren and with our family, more so with our clients and friends. This we ask in the mighty name of your Son, Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. The name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sir Ness, for your heartfelt, beautiful prayer. Okay. And now to introduce our resource speaker, and we're incredibly fortunate to have him with us tonight. With 25 years of experience helping other people managing their money, over 1,800 of them directly, and thousands of others through to the members of his team, reaping lots of awards along the way. Let's give him a warm virtual welcome to branch head Ray Havillana of Mighty Beacon Branch, Manulife, Philippines. Bench Ray, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Amer. Thank you, everyone, for being here, for joining us this evening. You know, everybody seems to have a common concern lagi. And I think there's no one that is really spared sa ano natin, sa concern about money. So thank you so much for coming this evening. We hope to share with you briefly a lot of the things that we need to know. Of course, ano lang ito, webinar lang ito, overview of everything, just enough to get you going. Okay, just just so that you have a good idea to start with, and then do something about it already tonight. Okay, so let me share with you the slides that I have prepared for this evening's presentation. Okay, so this is about managing your money wisely, because you could always manage money, but it's not very wise. Okay, so we will do it wisely. It's the idea is to make your money do the work for you eventually, so that you stop working for money. Baliktad. Now, of course, kanina na-introduce na ako ni Emer, so thank you so much. I think I've learned a lot already about money because I've been here for 25 years already. And I've handled a lot of concerns ng clients and have helped them. So hopefully, I'll be able to share with you the ones that have been very significant para sa kanila. Okay? We'll start with some fundamental concepts about money. Um, we cannot really see the whole thing about money unless we adopt the fundamental concepts. So, the first one that I would like to share with you, the idea is money is not really our goal. It is not what we work for. If we're working for money, we're doing it wrong. We have probably the wrong perspective about it, because money is really just a tool. It's a tool to make our lives better. If we are not moving to make our lives better, and when you say better, it's not necessarily materially better. Of course, when you have money, you can do a lot of things. But what are you going to be doing with that money? What use will you have for money? Will it really spread good and benefit? Because if you think of it, the money that we hold or we will ever hold is not really ours, because we are never born with money. And when we die, we never bring money with us. There is a story about the great Alexander the great king, boy king. Oh, he wasn't really boy, but he was very young when he died. I think he died at the age of 24. He asked he asked the people around him when they carry out his body, they should just let his hands fall free from his body, open handed. And he really wanted to show only the fact that he was not carrying anything into his grave. Wala siyang dala. Hindi niya dala yung pera niya, hindi niya dala yung wealth niya, hindi niya dala yung power niya, hindi niya dala yung authority niya. Yung hands niya empty. And that is a practical realization. So it's not really money that we are after. We just need to recognize money for what it really is. Okay? So, where did we go? Okay. The fourth concept that I would like us to think about tonight to make our understanding whole is that money is no good to us if we don't use it for good. If we use it for evil, it is no good for us. And eventually that will backfire to us. But if we use it for good, then we have a good prospect of things happening well. Okay? Yung sabi nilang karma, babalik sa atin yan if you use money with wisdom na gagamitin natin in order to create good. After all, we were all created to do good to each other. Kaya yung sinasabi natin, money is not the goal because we only use it to be able to do good in this life. And if there is probably nothing better than to always think about what will be good for everybody. Kasi doon tayo makakakuha ng maximum benefit from money. So thinking about those concepts will lead us next to some realizations. Okay? The most important realization is ano ba yung key concerns natin about about money? Okay? Very simple. Let me try to summarize it in practical terms as we have experienced it in our career. Ano pa talaga ang pinaka-concern ng mga tao about money? Like we said, money is not the goal. But what we would like to do is to be able to solve all the concerns that we have about having money or having no money. And the first is, our first concern is because we can live too short. What do I mean? Hindi pa tapos yung mission natin sa buhay, pero nawala na tayo. I think everybody lives for a purpose. For most people, the purpose is to be able to build up and uh, and have a family and leave our legacy behind with our family. And the legacy that we leave behind is not necessarily money, it's the good values in life that we have learned and that we want to pass on to our children. So, when we say we live too short, it's because we feel that we have not finished our task and yet life is over for us. So our children are still too young to take care of themselves. We haven't finished molding them. We haven't finished developing their values. We haven't finished the task of growing them up into responsible and mature people. Then, of course, not only is it an issue that marami pa tayong hindi na nagagawa para sa mga anak natin, nag-iiwan pa tayo ng burden sa kanila just in case before we go, finally, dumaan pa tayo sa hospital. So may babayaran pa tayo. And that can be a big burden. And of course, there's the usual thing. There's the usual thing. they need to be able to provide, siyempre naman, no? Hindi lang basta tinatapon yung tao. We pay our respects, our last respects. So there's the memorial service interment cost. And in today's times, we have been seeing a lot of people making a business out of this. Para wala ng problema ang mga bereaved family, you just hire somebody para coordinator. The coordinator does everything. May friend ako na ganun ang trabaho niya. And iba naman yung service niya. Maybe uh, service niya actually starts when malayo pa. She already helps na paggawa ng preparation natin so that everything will be smooth when the day arrives. Okay. Then of course there's the utang, no? Utang that we need to settle. Alangan naman yung utang natin na personal, ang pamilya pa natin magdadala. So we want to be able to provide for that and not leave that as a burden to our family. There's also the issue of making sure that we're able to pass on whatever possessions we have to our family. Yung iwan natin ang estate na build up natin. Ang tawag natin yun estate. And may tax ang gobyerno dyan. We want to be able to pay for those taxes para smooth ang transition pa galing sa atin to our children. And normally, that will help to avoid having problems among our children and grandchildren kung paano maghahatian ng property kasi meron tayong nagawa na provisions para they can share on whatever we have put together, no? And that is where we have to consider that we probably need uh, the professional service of a lawyer to be able to settle everything among them. Para walang problema, walang awayan. And last but not least, of course, because our children are too young, they will not be able to provide for themselves, we probably need to put together uh, provisions para tuloy-tuloy ang kanilang pamumuhay according to the usual standards of living that have been used to. So, living too short is a major concern. The second concern is living too long. Sobra naman tayong uh, matagal ang buhay sa mundo. Exhausted na yung resources natin, nandiyan pa rin tayo. Okay? Because, alam naman natin that our expenses will continue. And because of inflation, it will increase year after year after year. Okay? So, lagi kong inaalala when my wife and I were newly married. Linggo-linggo, we would go for groceries. At ang bill namin, ilang grocery bags na yon, maabot lang ng 60 pesos per week. Before that, mga few years before that, magdi-date kami. Ang aming date na budget was only 5 pesos. Buo na yun. May sinin na yun, may merienda pa. Nowadays, where will that get you? So, tuloy-tuloy yan. So, aasahan natin na yung expenses natin will really continue year after year. And yet, we cannot work anymore to support ourselves. Yan ang malungkot yan. Malungkot talaga yan. Ako personally, ayaw ko magiging burden sa pamilya ko. So, up to the end of my days, I would probably like to make sure that I'm able to support myself. But if I cannot work anymore, how will I do it? And of course, there's the concern about medical bills. I'm not talking about illness na marami. Maintenance lang. Okay, maintenance lang. I was practically reminded of this because I had a friend na nakasabay ko sa Mercury Drug when I was buying my maintenance medicine. Ang aking maintenance cost, mabuti na lang I've been taking care of my body. Kaya ang aking monthly na maintenance bill sa medicines ko, umaabot na ng about 800 pesos. Pero nung tinignan ko siya, he was ordering about 15,000 worth of medicines lang monthly. 15,000. Eh kung ordinaryong tao ka tapos you did not prepare and you did not take care of your body, baka ano na yan, buong SS pension mo na yon. Kung may pension ka sa SS, baka buong pension mo na yon ang 15,000. Okay? We need help for most physical activities but children have own lives to live. Ito yung we wish sometimes na yung mga magulang, they wish that the children are still with them. Unfortunately, they're not. No, mahirap naman na mag-multiple families sa isang bahay kasi sila magkakaroon din ng sariling anak nila. So, baka hindi maka-accommodate sa bahay natin. So, they have to live separately. When they live separately, pag nangailangan tayo ng tulong, wala mga anak natin. And that can be concerned. So, but most probably, what we will resort to is to get help. No, yung taga-caretake, ano yan, yung ating yung tagapangalaga sa atin, no, to help us. We don't want to be a burden on others. Not monetarily, not just but also including physically and maybe psychologically kung minsan. Basta yung emotional needs natin, pati yan, kasama yan. So we need people around us. We have to have somehow a provision so that we can still be social, so that we can have the communication part with others, no? And of course, ito ang napansin ko sa mga kliyente ko na medyo mas nauna sa akin, yung kalungkutan ng buhay nila. Because unti-unti na nagda-drop off yung mga kaibigan nila, wala na siyang barkada na uubos na. Sila mismo hindi na makakalabas, they would like to go out, maraming gustong mag-travel, the only way siguro for them to travel is sila, mag-cruise na lang para hindi na babiyahin ng malayo, o hindi na maglalakad ng malayo, diyan na lang sa sea. Question is, can you really afford to just live like that? And the next issue is that between that is the fact that we could get really sick. I'm not talking of just a short illness, but something that's really serious that will require serious medical attention. Okay? So mayroong hospitalization and treatment, and this could get really expensive and drain all our savings. Ito yung ano natin, ito yung uh, hopefully, magsasabi tayo, knock on wood, hopefully it will not happen. And of course, if we are conscious of these things that could happen, it makes sense that bata pa lang tayo. In fact, dapat pagdating na siguro ng 40 years old, ang magandang recommendation dyan is make sure that you have a medical check-up every year. Meron kang lab works para sa blood chem mo, yung ECG mo, babantayan mo yan because yung mga hindi nagbabantay na before age 40, liable pa rin. Just recently, we had a death in our team, the husband of one of our team members. Bigla na lang pumanaw and he was below 50. He was below 50. Ang husband ng isang kasama namin sa team, and biglang-bigla hindi niya inasahan yung heart attack. Hindi nababantayan. And I always tell my clients that it's worth the expense na magpa-medical expense ka every year. It's good to really have that. It avoids a major illness, no? Para medicine mo yung konti-konti na lang. We may need to stop working as well pag nag-seriously ill tayo, even though working age pa tayo. We're still below 65, dapat nagtatrabaho pa tayo. Pero because of our illness, we have to stop. We have to undergo treatment, we have to undergo rehab bago tayo makabalik sa workforce. Okay? So ang problema na lang dyan is normally pag mga ganyan, ang nakakayaman, but I've experienced this with my friends that they have to undergo the humiliation of having to ask for help from friends. I'm sure you don't want to do that. I'm sure you don't want your family to undergo that kind of problem. Okay, so the only solution there is to take a look at what we have today and do something about it. Do something about it already today. Meron ba tayong paraan in order to stop these things, these concerns from being seriously affecting us? Okay, so we need to be able to apply some of these concepts into practical things. Okay, if you look at it really, our economic life, and tama kanina si Ferdy, no? The economy, it affects the economy. It starts with you. Kasi nandito tayo sa mundo, ang concern is has to affect us. We have to look at the right at things properly. Now, normally 0 to 25 years old, we are dependent on parents. There's nothing much we can do. Pwede tayo mag-work, working student, pwede, pero the usual situation is we are dependent on parents. So hopefully, yung parents natin are still around when we are at that age. But 25 to 65, yun yung ating time to really work for ourselves. 40 years is the time that we are self-supporting. And in that time, hopefully, we're able to build up what we call our estate. Ito yung ari-arian that comes because we are working. Okay? Dapat mayroon tayo. And then, pag may naipon na tayong ari-arian, then hopefully, ang naipon natin na ari-arian will be able to support us towards our old age. Okay? Maybe we should plan on on reaching the age of 90. Pag meron tayong mga relatives na umabot ng mga 80s, pasobra natin ng konti, ayaw natin na ah, kapusyan at tapos parang maasa na lang tayo sa iba. There's nothing like being independent because we are able to take care of ourselves. Mas mabuti na yung sobrang naipon natin kaysa kulang. So yung sobra natin na natitira, so for example, we plan to live until we are 90, tapos hindi tayo umabot ng ganyan, whatever is naiwan natin, we can always leave that behind with our heirs. Yun yung estate natin. That is our legacy that we leave with them. Okay, so dito pa lang even we reach the end point of our lives, pinaplano na natin kung anong mangyayari dyan. Dapat meron. Merong arrangement yan. Okay? It is through the arrangements that we make during the time na buhay pa tayo so that may continuation sa mga ginawa nating kabutihan. Okay? There are many examples of that but we will not discuss this for now. Okay? Pero may isa akong modelo na lagi kong tinuturo sa mga kliyente ko. Is the Lakers model. Alam niyo basketball team na Lakers. Okay? Ano yan eh. Tagal na namatay ang founder noon. Hindi naman founder but he was the guy who really built up the Lakers dynasty. At pinasa niya yung dynasty, yung business na yon sa mga anak niya. Pero hindi yan nawaldas, hindi nahati-hati, buo pa rin siya so that it could support his endeavor na basketball, na may basketball team sa LA. At maganda yung paraan na ginawa niya. It's called a trust arrangement, a living trust and a family trust na ginawa niya. Natuloy-tuloy ang Lakers dynasty kahit wala na siya. And it has continued to run as he envisioned it when he was still alive. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin yun. Kasi nakaloob lahat yun sa trust agreement na ginawa niya. Na draft niya with his lawyer. So it's a model that I often propose to my clients para magpatuloy sa kanila ang kanilang mga endeavors. whatever it is. So maraming details yan, but that's one of the ideas. Okay? So, if we're going to look at it, ano ang pwedeng magawa ng pera sa atin if we manage it properly? First of all, sabi nga natin, living too young, living too short, we want to be able to continue to provide for an income for the family, no matter what happens. With all that, you protect us and our family from income loss. If we should go, if we're no longer in the picture, maalis na tayo, what we want to happen is as much possible, uh, continuous pa rin yung income na binibigay natin. At parang, parang hindi tayo umalis. Tayo lang umalis pero ang perang binibigay natin sa pamilya natin, tuloy-tuloy. Okay? Together with that, we want to make sure that pag may provision tayo, nagkasakit and meron tayong malaking gastusin, hindi na tayo ang magbe-burden sa pamilya natin because we're able to take care of that. So we provide funds for treatment and recovery when we get ill. And one of the big lessons that we had happened the past 5 years, no? During the pandemic times. During the pandemic times, many people were unprepared. Wala silang emergency funds. Marami talaga ang tinamaan sa pandemic times. Not only did they get sick, but ang pamilya was deprived of income because wala na silang trabaho. Nagsarado maraming companies, maraming negosyo nagsarado, so nawalan ng trabaho ang maraming tao. And this is where it's very necessary to make sure that in case of prolonged emergencies na ganun, meron tayong source ng panggastos natin regularly. Okay, so next, what we want to do, pag na-solve na natin yung, pag na-sure na natin yung pag na-sure na natin yung, nawala. There you go. Pag na-sure na natin yung continuous flow ng income, kahit ano man mangyari sa atin, mag-sure na that's the time that we can now start to make sure that yung future expenses natin can be taken care of. Okay? So we provide funds for children's education. We can provide funds for a comfortable retirement. We can provide also funds to give us capital for a good business na pwedeng tuloy-tuloy. Pwedeng matuloy-tuloy ng income natin kahit na tumigil tayo, pwede ang negosyo natin tuloy-tuloy o pwede nating investments na lang ang kaninang na-mention na a source of passive income, magiging pwede. Okay? And then, maybe pag may sobra, doon mo palang iisipin na bumili ng sariling bahay. Okay? Ang isipan niya sa pagbili ng sariling bahay, kasi ang sariling bahay is an asset that really does not earn an income other than the growth of its value. So if you can use your money where it can have a faster growth in value, doon mo ilagay. I-defer muna yung pagbili ng sariling tahanan. Unless the market is really good for real estate investment at maganda yung kita at medyo mabilis ang kung kailangan mo ng pera, you can buy and sell a property, mabilis lang na ganun, then maybe that it would be advisable to buy your own house. Otherwise, probably medyo ipahuli mo ng konti kasi meron pa ibang mas priority. Yung protecting your income and being able to provide for education and retirement and investments. Only then, pag na-solve mo na yung pinaka-basic, doon ka ngayon mag-set aside ng leisure fund. Ito yung beyond your necessities. It can provide for the comfort that you're looking for. It can provide you with some sort of leisure na beyond what you normally use. And kung moderate naman ang paggamit mo, hindi ka naman excessive na paggastos, what will happen is, of course, you will be able to leave a legacy. And you can purposely do it instead of just simply waiting na when your time is up, kung ano naiwan, yun na lang ititira mo para sa mga anak mo at saka mga apo mo. You can purposely create a legacy para maalala ka ng mga naiwan mo sa buhay. I have met several couples na ganun ang concern nila because wala naman silang anak, wala silang pamilya, so what would you do? So, ang pag-usap namin centered around what can they do so that they create a legacy so that they will be remembered. Kasi can you imagine, you work all your life tapos wala kang pag-iiwanan na na-build up mo na negosyo. You're just forgotten. Parang ang sayang ng buhay mo. But if you're able to build up a legacy for something that can carry your name at maalala yung mga values sa pinagtrabahuan mo, that would really be good. Okay? So, in this, ito yung sinasabi natin na dapat maalala natin yung principle about the money. It's not the goal, but it's rather a tool. It's not the goal, it's a tool. And if we're not able to create a good, bakit pa tayo nagkaroon ng pera? So we want to be able to do that. So in handling our money, the simplest principle there is simply to have money discipline. And that is, you always set aside first yung dapat itatabi mo. At kung ano lang natitira, yun lang gagasusin mo. So you always, if you keep to this formula, you will always be keeping your expenses to the practical level na kailangan mo. And you will have 10 to 20%. Now, if you are of course very familiar with the Bible, this is also prescribed in the Bible. And tawag natin dyan, mag-tithe ka. Pero sa tithe mo is not just about giving to others, it's also making sure, kasi nakasabi doon, magtabi ka ikapuo ng kinikita mo para sa mga hindi makapagtrabaho. If you look at it widely, ang hindi makapagtrabaho, ikaw yun. Darating ang araw, hindi ka na makapagtrabaho at wala ka ng pagkukunan ng pera, kaya yung tinatabi mo ay para din sa'yo. I don't know if people look at it this way, but to me, I have found out that this is a very effective formula for taking care of ourselves. Okay? We have to be able to set aside anywhere from 10 to 20%. In fact, yung mga sobrang gusto mag-retire ng bata pa sila, gusto nila mag-retire sa 30s o 40s pa lang, what they set aside is about 60% of all their income every month. 60%. Pwede yan. Sa mga kabataan, I would normally encourage that kung bago ka pa lang pumapasok sa workforce. Okay? Later on, hindi mo na magagawa yun kasi may anak ka na, may asawa ka na, may pamilya ka na. Hindi mo magagawa yan. Pero habang pwede magawa, I would really recommend that we do it. Up to 60%. Sinasabi ko ako sa sarili kong anak, sinabi ko yan. Sabi ko, nung college ka, binibigyan kita ng allowance. Okay? Ngayon may trabaho ka na, bakit ka kailangan gumastos ng higit pang sobra-sobra pa kaysa allowance mo? Why don't you just keep your expenses close to what you received as an allowance at yung sobra itabi mo? And she saved that. She followed my advice. In 5 years, she was already self-sufficient sa pera niya. Tama na. And ready siya to meet life's challenges. And that is something that we can probably teach our young. It's a value that we can teach our young. Bata ka pa, simulan mo na. Para sa mga medyo sobra na, mananda, may edad na talaga, wala na tayong magagawa yan. Pero sa mga kabataan, pwede yan simulan. Total, ang sabi ko nga, ang pinaka-prinsipyo dan, if you can live on your allowance when you were a college student, maybe you can live on maybe just kahit na doble lang ng allowance mo kaysa college student and everything else you put into your savings. Okay? You will be doing well. Okay? Let us take a look now. When you set aside that money, what do? You don't just save it. you take advantage of the rate of interest and the value of time. What do I mean? Okay. Here is something that we can take a look at if you're going to take a look at inflation. The effect of inflation is this. Okay. Supposing you're spending 10,000 pesos a month now. Okay? Over the next 30 years, remember ang working years mo, ano lang, 40 years lang. So sabihin natin, part of that, ngayon ka pa lang natuto nito, you have 30 years to go. At 3% inflation, ang 10,000 a month mo kailangan will come up to 5.7 million. Lahat-lahat yan by the time na matapos mo ang 30 years. So that goes up until sabihin natin right now you're spending 20,000. If you're spending 20,000 and you live within that standard for the next 30 years at 3% inflation, you'll be spending 11.4 million. And if your life standard, your living standard is about 100,000 a month, you're talking of 57 million. Can you imagine that? That's a lot of money. And if you didn't know how to manage your money, did not provide for that, where will your money come from na kailangan mo when the time comes? So, ang solution doon is to match inflation with what your money earns as interest. Interest lang. Okay? So, for example, if you were to save 20,000 per year for the next 18 years, 20,000 for the next 18 years. Bakit 18 years? Kasi yun lang ang kasya sa chart ko. Okay? That's a total of 18 times 20,000 or 360,000 pesos only. Now, if you were to put that into simple savings, when you're given 2% net, you would end up with 466,000 pesos. Kumita na yung 360,000, kumita na. Maganda na rin. Pero would it be able to meet a 3% inflation? No. Utang ka pa. Kulang yung tinabi mo. You would not be living according to the standards that you have when you are starting. Yung down the line, lugi ka. Wala ka nang kakapusin sa ginagastos mo. So what you should probably do is now put that into bonds. So if ever you have, if you ever use whatever you're able to set aside as savings, ilagay mo sa government bonds. Now, government bonds can earn as much as 6% interest. Ako I get offers like that every other day from a bank, pinapadala na ako ng ganyan. 6% is more or less what is happening right now. And if you are able to buy bonds with the money that you set aside, yung 20,000 mo per year, for 18 years, you would end up with 716,000. Maganda. Halos na doble yung pera mo. And if you're able to extend that to loans, I'll give you a particular example for For example, pumasok ka sa cooperatives, no? Cooperatives, pwedeng kumita yung pera mo dyan up to 8%. Pinapautang mo, hindi ikaw mismo nagpapautang directly. Oh. Pero 8% lang ang kinikita usually dyan, but that's 895,000 pesos. Panalo ka. Malaki ang panalo mo. But if you put that into business and your business earns at least 10% income per year, you would end up with 1 million. So you'll probably notice that the best way for your money to grow fast is to put that into business. At yung kanina sinabi, investments. That's very true. Okay? Put that into business or put that into investment. Ang problema lang sa business is, alam mo ba magpatakbo ng business? Hindi ka ba malulugi? Kasi kung di mo rin lang alam, malulugi ka lang, mas maigi pa yung passive income ka na lang, investments. Okay? I will talk more about that later on. Okay? So let's take a look lang. If you are able to get a return of 10% per annum, what happens if you're able to wait until sometime bago mo gamitin yung pera? Okay? Ang sabi natin, the effect of having time for your investment, which means to say, as early as you can, simulan mo yung investment mo, okay? What happens is, if you invest 1,500 per month for 10 years at 10% per annum, you would have about 307,260 after 10 years. But if you keep on investing for another 10 years, more than 3 times ang balik sa'yo is 1.139 million ang abutin mo. And if you're able to increase that to 3,000, syempre magdodoble, 614, 520, 2,278. Now, if you are investing 10,000 a month, that becomes 2,048,400 in 10 years and 7,593,700 in 20 years. And that alone, even if it's only 10% per annum, because of time, nakabawi ka. And right now, ang inflation sa Philippines right now is less than 3%. No? It's less than 3%. So, mukhang feasible ang plano na ganito. You invest your money and wait for it to grow. If you start now, malaki ang chance na lumago siya after 20 years. By the time that you retire or stop working, malaki na ang pera mo. Okay? And we have a simple formula na tinatawag na rule of 7, the rule of 72. Okay? What happens is that you take the number 72 and divide it by the rate of return. What you will get is the number of years it will take to double your money. So if you look at it, a 10% will double your money every 7.2 years. If you're able to get something like 18%, 4 years pa lang madodoble na. Okay? Ito lang kasi ang titingnan mo, where will you get the opportunity to have this kind of return on investment? It's not always that you have that. In stable economies, normally, ang rate of return mo is even less than 10%. Okay? Pag medyo risky yung economy, mataas ang rate of return mo, pero malaki din ang risk mo na malugi. Biglang bumagsak yan at malulugi. So, right now, we're quite stable, kaya yung ating rate of return will probably be good at 10% pag ikaw ang nag-i-invest. Okay? There is an investment na usong-usong ngayon, yung cryptocurrency. Right now, based on my research, delikado pa yan. Marami dyan kasi it's purely digital ang negosyo ng investment dyan. It's so easy na sabi na kumita ka, pero ano pala, false pala, fake pala. Pwede rin malugi ka pero mawala lahat ng pera mo dyan kasi digital. Okay? Until we find, until ma-establish ng, ng secure measures to ensure any investments that you have on crypto, I would probably not try it. It's not worth the aggravation. Okay? Let's go with safe things. And there are many things about that na siguro i-consider natin. And medyo ibang topic yun. Maybe we can talk about that in the future. Okay. So what are the financial instruments that we can go into? Essentially, dalawa lang naman talaga ang financial instruments na pwede mong pasukan. First, there is insurance. Okay? Let's talk of a simple case. A married employee, a breadwinner, has a 7-year-old son. Para masustain yung pamilya niya, kailangan niya ng 40,000 a month or about 480,000 a year para sa pangangailangan niya. Ito lang problema. Pag 7-year-old son, kanina nakita natin na ang time that he starts to be self-supporting will be at age 25. That means to say, there's still 18 years to go bago yung bata will be self-sustaining, self-supporting. So in that 18 years na yun, pag nawala yung breadwinner, suddenly it could happen, we don't know when, pwede mangyari within a very close period, mawawala na siya. Ang kailangan niya, for the next 18 years, until magiging self-supporting siya, it will be 8.64 million. Ang question dyan, saan niya kukunin ng 8.64 million? Kasi dependent ka siya sa parents niya. Okay? This is actually one way that I often make people realize na oo nga, no, hindi ko naisip yan. And to be honest with you, hindi sa kasanayan o karaniwan na yung mga taong kausap ko are aware of that. Hindi nila naisip. And most Filipinos are actually not very conscious of that yet. That's why it's our job to make them realize na kailangan mag-prepare. Pero unfortunately, there is a good solution for that. Na pwede makover yung 8.64 million niya for the next 18 years. And that is when you have life insurance on the life of the breadwinner. It can be done. Kahit na hindi ganun kalaki ang pera niya, life insurance can cover that. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, sa paggamit mo ng pera, the wisest thing to do with that is to make sure that first of all, the flow of income is protected. Hindi mawawala anuman mangyari sa breadwinner ay dapat nandun. So one of the things that he can do is tingnan niya kaagad magkano ba talaga total ng life insurance na kailangan niya para ma-secure yung future ng pamilya niya. Now, other than that, we said ang health insurance. Okay? Halimbawa, ito naman, same person, pero mayroon siyang diagnosis ngayon ng cardiovascular disease. Ang cardiovascular disease, very common na nangyayari simula pa lang ng 30s. Para sa hindi aware ng health issues at hindi nababantayan, 30s pa lang, nandyan na yung mga concerns about health. At pwede mangyari ito, yung cardiovascular disease. Pwede, ang disease na yan can require the person to undergo several surgical procedures. Bago siya mag-40, nakailang surgical procedures na siya. Hopefully, hindi masyadong malaki. Pero halimbawa ngayon, magano ka lang, mag-angioplasty ka lang ngayon, pwede kang abutin ng 1,000,000. Kung hindi ka handa ng 1,000,000, kung hindi ka handa kung saan ka kukuha nun, saan mo babayaran yun? Kung nag-iipon ka, sayang yung pag-iipon mo kasi gagamitin lang ng medical bills mo. Kaya importante dito, ang solution dito is usually yung health insurance mo, health protection ang tawag natin siya. And it can be designed in many ways na it can attack several concerns at the same time. Okay? We'll talk about that. Now, economy is helping the economies grow. Tama ka, Ferds, no? Money impacts on the economy. In what way? So, alam nyo itong nangyayari, yung budget ng gobyerno, kagabi na interview si Gibo, Department of Defense, no? Secretary of Defense Gibo Teodoro. Kasi binabalak ng Pilipinas mamili ng armas pa-protect against China. Pero sinasabi saan kukuha ng pera ang Pilipinas? Ang totoo niyan, every time mayroon tayong binibili ng high ticket items na ganun, hindi nanggagaling yun sa collection natin ng taxes. Inuutang ang pera pambayad diyan. Tapos yung taxes natin ginagamit pambayad ng utang. Ina-amortize unti-unti. Okay? So, ang ginagawa ng gobyerno diyan, umuutang ng pera. And ang tawag diyan ng bonds and notes, treasury bonds, treasury bills, at saka treasury notes. Hiram ang pera ng gobyerno, sasabihin for every 1 million that we borrow from you, babayaran ka namin ng 6% every year, pero we pay out the interest every quarter. Pwede mangyari yun. Or every 6 months, we will pay the interest. Okay? And at the end of the borrowing period, sabihin natin na 10 years yan, at the end of 10 years, babalik namin sa iyo ang kapital mo. So kung pinahiram mo kami ng 1 million, meron kang kikitain na 60,000, tama ba yun? 1,060,000 every year. Hati-hati natin yan. So you'll receive that every 6 months. 30,000 per 6 months. Until fully maabot ng 10 years. At the end of 10 years, ibalik namin sa iyo ang 1 million. Now, pwedeng mangyari na kulang pa rin ang pambalik after 10 years. Ngayon, gusto ng gobyerno diyan ay manghihiramin uli ang 1 million, pa-extend 'yun. So mag-o-offer uli siya ng extended pa bagong bonds na naman, nakasaad yung interest rate, baka 6% or 8% or 4%, tapos maybe 5 years na lang babayaran niya. Pwede mangyari yun. That's what you call you manage the debt obligations. And ito yung purpose talaga dito in this case. Sabi na, ang mga projects na to, galing yan sa shortfall ng budget. Kakulangan ng budget dahil ang collections, ang pera para sa budget normally comes only from taxes. So ang taxes na binabayad natin napupunta sa mga pambayad ng utang na ito. Okay? Pambayad ng interest, pambayad ng principal pag dumating ang araw. That's why ang gobyerno naman mag-i-invest in big projects na ganito. Halimbawa, yung ginagawa ngayon na big projects, expand ang mga airports para mag-benefit yung mga local places from the tourism revenue. Pero sobrang laki kasi ilan yung target ng ang target ng gobyerno na i-privatize ng mga airport. Practically every major tourist destination, iba privatize yun para ma-expand. Kasi kung igagawin ng gobyerno na sarili niya, mangungutang ang gobyerno. Pero pag privatize yan, ang companies ang mangungutang. So pwede ang private companies naman, instead na ang gobyerno mag-issue ng bonds or notes, yung companies naman ang mag-issue ng bonds or notes. So you have that na babayaran ka. And ang maganda nito is guaranteed ang return, yung rate of return. So ma-anticipate mo magkano kikitain ng pera mo. Okay? At there is, even before the bonds or the notes mature, nakaabot ng maturity date niya, pwedeng iti-trade. Eh, somebody who wants ang bangko, for example, common yan na nagtitrade yan. Gusto ng bangko, meron siyang makamit ng requirements ng BSP for cash on hand. Paano yung magka-cash on hand yun? So siya kukuha. Bibili siya ng bonds or notes na malapit na mag-mature para pagdating ng maturity, eksakto nandyan sa bangko at bilang yan na cash yun. Bibilangin nyo na cash yun. And sometimes babayaran ng bangko na mas mahal ng konti para lang ma-make sure na na makuha nila yung cash balance nila. So yun ang cash and bonds. Ang pagkakaiba lang nito sa next category is that ito may guaranteed returns. Okay? Clear. Wala nang up, walang down. It's always level. Okay? Ang problema lang dyan kung maasahan ba yung pangako ng gobyerno o pangako ng private corporation na babayaran ng utang. So importante that makilala mo yung nangungutang para mag-guarantee yung utang. It's very important to do that. Okay? So, the second type ng utang is what we call equities or pati yung ano yan, yung income trust, no, investment trust. Parang you own a share of the business at kung ano kinikita ng business na yan, yun ang kita ng pera mo. So pag maganda yung negosyo, pinasukan mo, posibleng malaki ang kita mo. Posibleng mas malaki ang kinikita mo kaysa government bonds or notes. And remember, ang corporations and private corporations will also borrow with bonds and notes. Pero para hindi sila nagbabayad ng interest, instead, pwede magkuha sila ng investors into the company and the company buys shares of ownership of the company at hati-hati sila lahat depending on the number of shares kung magkano ang kinikita ng pera nila. So ang kikitain lang doon hindi na guaranteed pero gives returns based on the company profitability. Now, if you were investing in equities and trusts and REITs, importante that you know kung maganda yung iniinvestan mo. Okay? Pipiliin mo. Dapat marunong ka magpili kung saan ilalagay ang pera mo. Now, ito ang ano diyan, isa sa mga usual na challenges yan. Hindi alam ng karaniwang tao paano magpili. And they're also dependent on other people to tell them kung saan mag-i-invest. And you know, maganda lang yun pag talagang trusted mo. Kung trusted, kausap mo yung nag-a-advise sa'yo. Importante na trusted mo para alam mo yung sinasabi ay tunay. Magagaranti mo ang iyong ownership, yung investment mo doon. So, some of the problems that we want to be able to hold, pero yun ang mga pwede natin magagawa na instruments to manage our money. Okay? So, how do we grow our money? Okay? We need to undergo financial planning. Pinaplano talaga natin. Hindi lang yung pautay-utay, pero kung pwede buo talaga, buo talaga yung plano mo, just like in anything else, you treat it like you treat the accounts that you have on your money as parang business din. Talagang kung kumikita ka ba o hindi, and whether or not mamimit mo yung needs mo. So, here are some of the questions you probably would need to have answers to. Okay? What are your main concerns? Importante na tumbok mo yun. Hindi bara-bara. Dapat naintindihan mo. Ano yung main concerns mo? Okay? And you have to understand why are they concerns. Hindi lang pwede na dahil gusto mo. May dahilan dahil may impact sa buhay mo. Why are they concerns? And siyempre hindi lang iisa yun. Sabay-sabay yan. Okay? Normally, pinakamabigat yan during the time na may anak ka. Sabay-sabay, you would need housing, you would need pag-alaga ng mga bata, education ng mga bata, mga needs ng mga bata, pagkain ng mga bata, mga needs nila. Una yan. And malaki ang sakripisyo ng parents dyan. Pero what is the priority na bibigay mo sa kanila? Una ba sila o medyo pauli na? What is the magnitude of each concern? Importante na quantify mo yung magnitude. At least man lang kahit hindi eksakto, you have an idea what is the magnitude of each concern para makapagplano ka ng husto kung ano ang perang gagawin mo, anong ilagay mo na pera. What provisions have you so far prepared for its concern kung meron ka na nagawa? Anong nagawa mo? How does it impact on the plans that you want for the future? Okay? How soon would you need to satisfy its concern? May timing yan, hindi sabay-sabay. Okay? Of course, halimbawa, education ng anak mo, hindi naman nagsasabay yung sa retirement planning mo. Yung paggawa mo ng leisure fund, hindi naman yan sabay-sabay sa retirement mo. You can put that together, unti-unti, utay-utay, pwede mo magawa yan together, unti-unti, no? Okay? To what extent are you willing to take risks in order to satisfy his concern? Kasi doon sa pag-evaluate mo ng risk na yun, doon kami mamimili ng underlying investments na papasukan mo. Okay? Kung hindi mo masikmura ang high risk, then don't. But you have to find the best solution that you can for this. Ito lang problema, normally. I find, ako bago ako pumasok sa Manulife, maraming trabaho ito kasi ang dami ng research, ang dami kong gagawin. Okay? In fact, before I joined Manulife, I was I was part of the faculty of Ateneo and I was teaching yung investment math na ito to my students. Okay? And I realized that when I joined Manulife, tapos kinumpare ko yung ginagawa ng Manulife for the same kind of portfolio na inawak namin na pinili ko tsaka pinili ng Manulife, Manulife was still able to produce double the returns than I did. Eh nagtuturo na ako ng investment math doon sa Ateneo. Hindi ko pa nagagawa. So sabi ko, ba't ko pa gagawin samantala nagagawa naman ng Manulife for me? Wag na lang. Para simple na lang ang buhay ko. Okay? So importante dito is to get professional help. It's like kung doktor, kung may sakit ka sa katawan mo, what would you do? Would you go to a doctor or would you heal yourself? Ang recommendation ko dito is to get professional help. May trained yan eh. May trained yan to do this. Why not take advantage of those who are trained to do this? Okay? That is the financial advisor. Ito ang tunay na financial advisor. They train and study extensively and continuously. Then, they look for clients. Maswerte yung mga tao nakakausap ng financial advisor because they will benefit from the training and studies na ginagawa ng financial advisor. Okay? Interviews them on their financial priorities. Ito yung pinaka-importante diyan. Para kang doktor. I mean, meron ka bang nakilala na pasyente na pumasok sa opisina ng doktor, hindi pa siya chine-check up ng doktor, hindi pa siya ini-examine, nagbigay na ng prescription? Walang doktor na gano'n. Ang tunay na financial advisor, nag-i-examine, nag-i-investigate. So, nag-i-interview diyan para malaman kung ano talaga ang financial priorities. And kung ano ba tapos diyan, walang bayad nga yung check-up eh. Walang bayad. Ang doktor ka may bayad pa. Sa amin, walang bayad ang financial advisor. Free. Okay? If the client likes the advice, they may buy insurance, they may invest money, they may join our career, mali ang English yan, may join our career or do all three. Maybe hindi sabay-sabay. Maybe one at a time, iba-iba, pero natutuloy. Kaya ang relationship namin with the client is not one time. It's tuloy-tuloy. Pahabaan kami ng buhay. And I found out na sabi ko, kaya pala tumatagal ako sa negosyo nito because meron akong commitment to my clients to sustain them, to maintain their financial health. Okay? Para akong doktor sa kanila. Habang nandyan sila, I have to take care of them. That is really the reason why I've stayed a long time. Hindi ko maiwanan sila eh. Okay? Helping people is the mission of the financial advisor. And when the mission is accomplished, that's the only time that the financial advisor earns. Pero naman, isipin nyo, if we can make our clients financially independent, free of financial worries, don't you think that we deserve to be paid well naman? The client does not pay us well, but our partner, our principal does. And I will introduce the principal to you later on in a while. No? The more people the FA helps, the more he earns. Okay? And para mas marami pang income niya, we can recruit other financial advisors in order to be able to do more, to help more people. Kasi kami limited lang. Kasi ako, tingnan mo ako, naka 25 years na ako, 1,800. Hindi ko kayang, hindi ko sila kayang ikutan every year just to check up on them. Kailangan schedule ko. Hopefully, every 2 to 3 years, masu-shorten ko para magawa ko yan. And there is a model that we follow on how to do our mission. So we operate like a franchise, like a doctor. May proseso kami on how to do things with our clients to take care of them. And the real advantage here is that hindi na kailangan mag-trial and error ang aming clients. Basta makatotohanan and very honest yung aming dialogue with our clients, we are truly able to help our clients. Ang dami niyan eh. Ginakita niyo ang ano kanina, ang concerns na yon. Marami yung concerns at bawat tao, iba-iba yung concerns. Wala namang, parang doktor din kami, like I said, no? Walang dalawang tao na pareho ang sitwasyon. Kailangan talaga bawat isa iba, iba sitwasyon. So our business partner in this is none other than Manulife Philippines. That's why I've been here for 25 years. Hindi ko maiwanan kami kung mga clients ko eh. And here, talagang totoo yung aming sinusunod, yung mission ng Manulife. And that is decisions made easier, lives made better. What we want to happen is our clients are able to make decisions easier so that their lives can be made better. Okay? Pareho lang yan na parang when we are able to work with clients, at clients would require months and maybe even years to be able to put together a financial plan that will make them financially independent. Samantala, if they work with us, with a financial advisor, they need only to spend maybe 1 hour, tapos nakalatag na lahat yan, maayos na namin kung paano gagawin going forward. Ang laki ng time na masasave, ang laki ng worry na masasave, at masisigurado ng kliyente na maganda yung plano niya at yung mga solutions, the financial solutions na ginagawa para sa kanya. Okay? So Manulife, of course, was established in 1887. No-notice nyo, 1887. How many years is that? 100, almost 140 years na. Almost 140 years na. It's 138 years. 138 years na. Established na. No. Would the company exist that long kung hindi siya mapagkatiwalaan at hindi siya pinapatronize ng tao? Okay? In the Philippines, we've existed since 1907. Okay? Registered. Talagang may license to operate. We are now a leading international financial services group. We are the biggest life insurer in Canada. We provide financial advice, insurance, as well as wealth and asset management solutions, not only for individuals, but also for groups and institutions. Isa sa mga pinaka-rewarding ko na trabaho is I'm working with religious communities and I'm able to provide for their financial needs. It's traded in Toronto, New York, Hong Kong, and Philippine stock exchanges. Yung equities na to are traded in those companies. And we have now more than 38,000 employees serving more than 33 million customers worldwide. And in the past 12 months, we've paid over $31.8 billion in terms of total benefits. Total benefits. Galing doon sa mga financial plans na ginawa namin para sa mga kliyente namin. What drives the company is, first of all, obsessing about customers. We really spend time to understand what our clients need and really spend time to develop the solutions that they need. We think big. We are not limited by existing solutions. We develop new solutions kung kailangan. We propose. Ma matrabaho man pero kailangan. But then, kung maganda naman yung trabaho namin, very, very rewarding naman, both for the clients and for us. The most important thing here is that we are able to uh, build a strong relationship with our clients. Friends become our clients and clients become our friends. Okay? Kasi sa frequency ng aming interaction and the trust that exists between us. Always kasi importante dito, what we do is always do the right thing. So morally, hindi kami pwedeng magbali dyan ng moral values namin. Isa sa mga bagay na talagang tinitingnan namin is to do the right thing. Okay? We get it done together as a team. We don't work alone. We always work together. We put our heads together to come up with the best solutions. And the moment we agree on one thing, we do it together. We do it as if we own it, ang solution na yan. So core values namin, that has helped me to stay also here in Manulife because ang tingin ko, sabi ko, hindi talaga ako mapapahiya sa mga kliyente ko, sa mga kaibigan ko. And instead, I would be able to have a lot more friends than ever before. So how do you know that we will stay long? Because of our relationships with our clients and the trust that they give us, maganda ang results ng Manulife every year. Okay? Yun yung nasa financial report ng Manulife ng 2024. Okay? So, kumikita talaga, may pera talaga, talagang pinagkatiwalaan ng mga tao. And if since we are listed in the Philippine Stock Exchange, pag tiningnan mo yung companies na nakalista sa stock exchange, we are the company with the biggest market capitalization. That's equivalent to 2 trillion. Yung nakita niyo yung figure dyan. Okay? What follows is Sun Life, SM, BDO, Golden, Ayala Land, BPI, ICTS ni Razon, tsaka Manila Electric ni Manny Pangilinan. Okay? Pero yung expression ng market capitalization nito is not so much the fact that nandyan siya, but the fact na yun ang measure ng pagtitiwala ng aming clients and investors in Manulife. We are number one in their eyes. And that to us is an affirmation that we are doing the right thing. So just to take a look at what is happening, what we are able to put together in terms of components ng financial plan is sa insurance pa lang, under Manulife Philippines ito. We have term life insurance, accident insurance, group life insurance, traditional life insurance, whole life programs. Under traditional, we have whole life, we have limited pay programs. Limited pay, ibig sabihin, pag whole life, buong buhay mo, paano yan? Binabayaran ng premium dyan. Pag limited pay, limited lang yung time na binabayad mo. Ang endowment naman, may termination, may definite period na nagmamature siya pagkatapos pag na-mature, wala na, tapos na siya. Okay? And then we have variable life insurance. Ang variable life insurance includes both coverage for life insurance and an investment component. Kaya mabenta siya para sa mga taong kabataan, lalo na kasi naghahanap sila ng paraan para magkaroon ng both income protection and health protection, and at the same time, may kita ang pera nila. So, variable life, tatlong klase yan, no? We have one time na binabayad lang. We have limited pay. You pay for a certain period lang, tapos it covers you for life. And we have regular pay. Parang binabayaran mo until the end of your life. Tuloy-tuloy siya. Depende yan ang klase ng program na papasukin mo will have to depend on your particular needs at yung particular na definition mo. Then of course, we have health protection na sarili siya. May iba-ibang characteristics. So we have a program that covers hospitalization. We have a program that covers critical illness. And we have something like parang supplement sa iyong health maintenance or HMO na program. Ang HMO kasi, karamihan yan, may limit ang makukuha mo. Beyond a certain limit, mahal na. So para makukuha mo yung mas malaking benefit, yung health protection na ito, piniprovide ng Manulife para pag-supplement pag merong kang basic na gano'n. Pandagdag lang. Pandagdag pero mas malaki ang dinadagdag. Okay? Then we have American equities. Ito sa investments naman. Under Manulife Investments, we have American equities. Ang American equities are invested in corporations selected from the American market. Alam naman natin ng Amerika is so vast. Napakaraming companies doon. So ang daming pagpipilian. We buy shares of stock of these companies and put them together under a fund called American Equities. At the same time, meron din kaming counterpart para sa mga ASEAN nations. Okay, ASEAN companies naman. Kasi emerging market ang ASEAN. Okay? We have Asia bonds. Ang Asia bonds naman, essentially pangungutang ng mga governments around Asia. Okay? So guaranteed ang returns dito, walang masyadong fluctuation at maganda ang returns para sa iyo. Ang Asian equities naman is a wider market. Mas malawak kaysa ASEAN. Ang Asian includes ngayon Japan and Taiwan and the other, ang Hong Kong, and even Korea, mga gano'n, no? Asian equities yan. And then we have Asia Pacific REIT. Our real estate investment trust. Ito yung, you don't buy equities, but you buy parang co-ownership of rental properties. When you are invested in REITs, para ikaw may sariling rental properties. Nangongolekta ka ng rental. So ang mga REITs na ito, pag meron kang REITs, nagbabayad ng monthly income para sa iyo. Okay? Not only that, over time, tumataas din ang value ng REITs mo. Okay? Tumataas din siya ang market value niya to keep up with inflation and to give you an appreciation in value. Dragon growth, ito yung mga Chinese companies mostly. Okay? Kung saan yung mga Chinese-run companies. Then we have equity wealth. Ito yung mga best companies operating out of the Philippines only. Equities ng companies na maganda ang kita. Equity. Okay? We have global clean energy equities. Ito are companies that operate around the world na yung commitment nila is towards developing technologies for clean energy. Alam nyo naman ang epekto sa gasolina. You know, recently nagkaroon ng away ang Iran at Israel. Hindi pa tapos yan, nasa truce pa lang sila. Tapos may away din sa Ukraine and Russia. Apektado tuloy ang presyo ng petroleum products. Kaya ang going forward, a solution dyan is mag-shift na into clean and renewable energies. So ito yung clean energy equities yan, ownership of companies na ganun. Then we have global dynamic leaders equities. Pag sinabi mong dynamic leaders equities, ikaw yung we invest in companies na nangunguna in terms of total size around the world. Kumikita na, tapos nangunguna pa in terms of size. So, ang ibig sabihin yan, ang companies nito are very, very stable. Kaya sila malalaki na, malaki ang investors base nila. So there's very little chance na mawala yung investment mo just because of risk, no? We have the global healthcare equities. We put together this fund noong pandemic kasi isa sa mga realization natin, importante talaga pala yung not only yung mga nagde-develop ng bagong drugs and vaccines, but also yung nagde-develop ng healthcare ng mga tao, yung mga hospitals, mga institutions na gano'n. So, ito yung global healthcare equity. So, meron tayong pag-aari sa mga operations na to and we get returns sa ating investment because ito yung mga equities nito, pag-aari natin sa mga healthcare companies niyan. Then we have the Global Income Fund. Ito naman, kautangan ng mga iba-ibang bansa, ibang-ibang bansa. Global bonds and notes ito na galing sa gobyerno ng iba-ibang bansa. Kaya guaranteed ang income dito. Hindi lang siya ganun kalalaki usually, pero meron siyang guaranteed income. Then you have the global money market. Ito panandalian lang ito na parang we are there to make sure that may cash. So minsan parang parkingan lang ito ng cash natin para dumami ang pera natin, ano? Then we have the global multi-asset income. Ang global multi-asset income includes equities, bonds, and notes all over the world. Yung pinakamaganda dyan, pinaghalo natin into one fund. At dahil doon, may capacity ito din magbayad ng monthly income. Nag-a-appreciate na ng value, pero at the same time, may bayad siya sa kita every month. Merong pinapasok na kita dito every month. Then we have global preferred income. Again, global din ito. Pero ang nakalaan nito, ka-invest ito sa mga preferred shares of companies. Yung preferred shares of companies, meron yung guaranteed na porsyento na kinikita ng interest. So, para siyang equities, pero not equities. Para siyang bonds, pero hindi siya bonds. Yun, kasi pareho siyang may guaranteed na porsyento na kinikita. Then we have global REITs. Ang global REITs, ang nakita yung kanina, Asia Pacific Properties lang yun. Asia Pacific Properties lang. Ang global naman, global talaga. I mean, ang kina-cover niya ang kino-global niya ng mga dapat ng mga properties are global. Para ka may pag-aari ng properties around the world when you are invested in global REITs. Global Technology Equities. Ito yung maganda kasi isa din sa mga developments ng pandemic is that nag-shoot up talaga yung mga different technologies, especially AI, at saka yung mga devices na mga bago to cope with the new technologies. All to riding with the technology development around the world in global tech. So the best technology companies, doon ka nakaka-ride sa mga equities yung pag-aari ng mga companies ito. Ang global thematic opportunities, saan ba ang focus at any time? Right now, it's clean energies, ang mostly ng thematic dyan, pero may halo din siya na iba ng mga rising technologies dyan. So naka-invest sa equities dyan sa companies na ito na naghahanap ng opportunities where there is a development na parang leading edge ng development ito. Okay? Then we have Income Builder, which is essentially just a Philippine fund. It pays out every month also ng income. We have India Equities. Naka-invest sa India kasi ang India is probably going to overtake China as an economy going forward. Kasi ang mga tao doon, marami silang dinidevelop both in terms of medical developments and technology developments sa India na yan. Marami sila doon. No? So, mataas ang appreciation yan. We have money market also for the Philippines and we have stable incomes for the Philippines, both of which pay a monthly income. Okay? Marami lahat yan. We don't have the time to really discuss all of them. What is important is that If you have the time, you sit down with your financial advisor and you talk over which ones ang pipiliin niya. I'll just give you some investment profiles, American equities. Yung nakikita nyo dito, okay, since inception ng SI, nakalagay doon sa column, tingnan nyo. Since inception, it has grown 140%. Oh, grown 140% up to from May 2019 up to May 2025. It has grown 140%. Okay? Ang 3 years niya is 8.59, tapos ang 1 year 8.24. Meron siyang medyo hindi maganda, pero but if you look at the chart, makikita yung mga chart, yung blue dyan covers the kinikita ng benchmark, no? Ang benchmark pinili ng iba na mga fund managers, pero ang green, yun ang pinili ng Manulife. May nakikita ang Manulife, nakakaiba ng konti, kaya nag-iiba ng kaunti ang holdings. Maybe at this point, it's a little lower, pero eventually, bumabawi ang Manulife. At saka, kung minsan, nasa opportunity din yan kung ano ang investment na available. Okay? What is important is that Manulife has a system na bago pasukin ng Manulife ang isang investment, ay ino-observe mo na ng Manulife for 2 years. Okay? Naglalagay ang Manulife ng seed money, tinitingnan mo ng performance, pinag-aaralan for 2 years bago i-open into the market. Okay? What is shown here in these charts, American equities, is that general trend is going up. There may be periods na yung value will go down, but if you look at it on a long-term basis, going up siya. Ang suggestion ko lagi dito, if you're looking at equities like this, is to hold on to what you have for at least 10 years. Kasi ang 10 years yan, sigurado na may kita. Tapos na yung up and down niya, kahit na may down pa siya at that time na mag-withdraw ka ng pera mo, ang down niya is still higher than kung kailan ka nagsisimula. This is how it looks. So American equities, ang Asia equities, ganun din. Better ng konti ang curve ng American equities. Asia bonds, tuloy-tuloy din. Okay? Pinipili ng Manulife yan. Global equities leaders, paakyat din siya. Okay? You notice ang trend, paakyat din siya. Global healthcare equities, paakyat din siya. General trend niya is also paakyat. Multi-asset, global multi-asset, paakyat din siya. Global technology equities, maganda rin siya, paakyat din siya. May down siya ng konti because of the recent trend ng tariffs na inimpose ni Donald Trump, no? Pero natatapos na yung natatapos na yung equities na battle niya na yon, so bumabalik na ulit siya sa paakyat. This is probably one of the better times na napasukin itong investment ito. If you have the money, it may be a good time to come in. Income builder, paakyat din yan. India equities, generally paakyat din. Okay? So, the best way to get details of this is to get together with your financial advisor and discuss which ones ang pwede niyong pasukin. Pero ang pinakita ko sa inyo is that there are many funds na pwedeng pasukin. Ang importante lang pag-usapan kung ano talaga ang kaya mong sakyan, kung ano talagang kayang sikmurahin mo na may up and down kung pwede. But the most important thing is that you can trust that Manulife has the system to get you the results that you want. Lahat, tinatrack, everything is done scientifically. The management practices are very reliable. That's why we have stayed around for 138 years already. Mapagkatiwalaan. Okay? That is probably my last slide. So all I was able to do is hopefully give you an overview of what is available. What happens now going forward is for you to do something about it. And I do urge that you act now, okay? While you are healthy, while you are economically productive, while you have longer time for funds to grow, while economic opportunities offer good returns on one's investments, there are good opportunities, as you can see from the charts. Well, you can decide now. Kasi mentally healthy ka pa, you can decide on where you're going to go. While all your questions can be answered and doubts resolved. You can always ask more questions. I think for those of you who have registered for this seminar, you received an email directly from my personal email, and that gives you the privilege to also ask your particular questions. But I would urge that you first get together with your financial advisor and discuss. So the next step would be to meet with your financial advisor. Identify your most significant financial needs. Identify your most viable budgets. Allow your financial advisor some time to design his or her best recommendations. Then you review the recommendations and have the financial advisor revise kung kailangan as necessary. And pag na-revise na, makita mo yung final form, you give your approval and then start your program. This is my very last slide. So it's now 9:40. We have some time until maybe 10 o'clock to entertain some questions if you have. You are now free to open your microphone for those who have questions. Just raise your hand and we can entertain the questions. Okay. Anybody with questions?
If you're a bit shy, you can also type in your question. Just type it in the chat box. Okay.
Okay. I'm waiting. So, let me assure you that forming your own financial plan may take some time, but it's worth it. And the time that you will probably need is dependent on your availability. But generally, you can come up with a financial program that suits your needs exactly if you just spend an hour with our financial advisor. Whoever invited you here, you get together with that financial advisor and work on your financial plan. Okay, just 1 hour. Okay, so wala tayong tanong? Walang tanong. Okay. So
Very
that's
clear
it.
yung presentation.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. We hope that we've somehow opened your eyes to the opportunities that are open to you to manage your money wisely and easily and safely. Okay? Because it's very safe to invest your money with Manulife, to have yourself covered with the insurance that you need with Manulife. Okay? So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, BH Ray, for sharing your expertise and valuable insights with us tonight. We appreciate your time and contribution, and for big thank you to all of you who actively participate in our webinar. We hope you found the session informative and helpful. God bless everyone. Thank you.
God bless everyone. Good night.